Over this last year, we have commissioned a big piece of consumer work to understand the needs of consumers in terms of their health and vitality. So as you can see on the slide here, this research identified 3 macro consumer need spaces: defend and enable, pursue and improve, fix and treat. And over the next 10 to 15 minutes, Jeff and I are going to walk you through some of the learnings of those 4 need states. But the focus of this presentation is on reframing hydration, and specifically what it is, what are the needs of consumers in terms of their hydration management today. So as you can see, half of all Americans have told us that hydration is now vital to their overall health and well-being. We've also learned that 4 in 10 Americans say they do not drink enough water, so they're aware of their hydration levels. But our research has also identified an interesting tension point for consumers. 35% of Americans claim that they drink enough water, but they take no enjoyment from it. And a further 44% of Americans have not consumed any still water at all in the last 3 months. So really indicating that for these consumers, their hydration needs are not being met by what's available today. So in terms of making sense of this, we really need to understand what those need states are for consumers. So you can see here we've created what we call the hydration line. And this is the line that consumers need to keep hydrated for everyday body functioning. And if you look below the line, we've identified 2 specific need states. And what's key about these 2 need states is consumers are always in a reactive mode. They are actively managing their hydration here. The first is, I feel dehydrated. So this is very much about depletion and tiredness. The second need state is very much about rehydrating after exercise, which is about replenishing what has been lost. So you can see from these are both quite physical and they're both very much reactive. However, our research has also identified needs that sit above the line. And these are needs that consumers now today proactively manage. And through this work, we've identified 2 need states. The first, hydration for health and vitality. And this is very much about feeling your best, looking your best, your hair, your skin, your nails, weight management, sleep management. So consumers really aware of the role of hydration for their health and well-being. The second above the line need state is hydration for performance. And this is about boosting to the next level. Very much about achieving your best, whether that's at work, activity, or even exercises like gaming. So thinking about focus and cognition. So what we can see with those needs above the line, they're very much about optimization. So consumers have really shifted in terms of how they move from reaction to proaction and a space of optimization. So as brand owners and suppliers, we need to frame our solutions through that same lens.
Thank you, Sonja. And now I'm going to kind of take over and talk more about the flavor portion of it and some of the trends and aspects of that. A lot of what Sonja said is going to relay onto the flavor side as well, and it's going to help you kind of go through your journey of picking the right flavor and choosing the trends on that flavor. So as you can see here, we kind of put together total functional beverages at top. That kind of encompasses everything on the beverage side on functionality, which would include the talks we're having today, in addition to hydration. And you can see that in the surveys that were done, that taste is more important pretty much across the board. Obviously, there is health that is looked at when looking at something, but taste is always key to a consumer, and it's something that is going to continue to drive sales throughout that process. So going through this kind of market in hydration, we really want to look at who's your demographic, who are you trying to pull in? And I think when you look at hydration, kind of what Sonja mentioned, you have this above and below line aspect. And I think at each aspect, you have different demographics and different people pulling those products. So I think knowing your market and knowing where you're at in that hydration line and your type of product, who you're targeting, is one of the main factors on what flavors you should be choosing. And if you are engaging and intriguing the adventurers, which is usually, I would say, on the below the line, and you can have some on above the line, but this is kind of your younger generation, they're a lot more adventurous. You can go a little bit more crazy. You can get a little bit more invigorating on your flavor selections, and you can be a little more experiential through that process. And I think that'll bring in a lot of people as well and build your brand and have a lot better visibility on the market. And then, even more so, there's a lot of this talk about nondescript flavors. And I think when you start doing nondescript flavors, in addition, like an electric punch, there's punch in there. A lot of people know what punch is, but I think it's pretty much nondescript, and we actually have some samples up here you could try. It gives you an experience that is unlike anybody else's. You get to choose your own experience. You don't know what you're getting into when you're tasting it. You taste it. Your only reaction is it taste good? Do I like it? And then you kind of build your personalization from that flavor. That is a thing we're seeing a lot as well in a lot of different aspects, including hydration. So doing something like that can be very intriguing to the market and allow you to kind of just put something in there and seeing how the market reacts. And the last thing is taking a familiar and a novel product and flavor combo together is really going to bring in a lot of different demographics as well. So if you have a familiar flavor, for instance, punch, very familiar. A lot of people know what a punch is. A lot of people have had punch. Electric, not really a flavor, so you're kind of doing a novel, or you can add in some other interesting flavors in addition to the punch. And that's going to allow you to kind of grab the market that understands punch, but grab the market that's also intrigued on what is electric punch. What are these other flavors and things that are coming through?
So what are the big takeouts from today's session? First of all, we recognize that consumers' needs today stretch well beyond rehydration. So as solutions need to really consider those optimization needs which sit above the line. Secondly, we know from the research that 35% of consumers do not enjoy drinking water and 44% aren't drinking water at all. So we need to think about solutions that go beyond the traditional and meet those needs.
And then just to finish on that, understanding the role in taste and the power of flavor. Flavor, like Sonja mentioned, a lot of people don't drink plain water because there's no flavor. So by adding that flavor, but finding the right flavor for the demographic that you're pursuing is even more important than just throwing a flavor in there. So understanding the power of flavor and how that can build your brand. Thank you. Is there any questions?